This is Mac OS Ken.
Addressing excitement around Apple Car, Apple employees are allowed to talk about stuff, and Ted Lasso opens a store. It is Monday, the 22nd of November, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Why are financial analysts so turned on by last week's Apple Car report? Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty will be happy to tell you. First, a reminder, the report we're talking about is the one from Bloomberg that said that Apple's current plan is for a fully autonomous car rolling itself off the line by sometime in 2025. That sent Apple shares to new highs on Thursday after the report hit, then even higher highs on Friday. In response, Morgan Stanley's Huberty penned a note to clients, parts of which were posted by Apple 3.0. Importantly, wrote Huberty, this is the first press report to include a broad number of data points sourced to Apple insiders and provides enough reported detail to potentially lend credibility to the idea that Apple's car launch could both accelerate adoption of new technology, electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles, and expand the addressable market similar to past Apple product launches. She does note, though, that the report is unconfirmed and that Apple did not comment. There are honestly similarities to the car note and the note she wrote about a week earlier regarding Apple and the metaverse. Regarding virtual reality and augmented reality hardware, a Bloomberg piece a little over a week ago said, the benefit of Apple's more patient approach to entering new markets is that the chances of success increase with a more informed approach to disruption, wrote Morgan Stanley analysts. Though Apple is notably absent on AR/VR hardware, analysts highlighted how Apple didn't enter the smartphone market until 2007, much later than Nokia and BlackBerry. See also the car in her estimation. Quoting her auto note, history suggests Apple isn't first to market. We can provide a number of examples from the last 20 years that show while Apple may not always be the first to market, its innovation engine, differentiation via vertical integration, and manufacturing operational excellence have allowed it to leapfrog first movers. Additionally, she thinks Apple will jumpstart the autonomous vehicle market, that it's got the supply chain chops to deliver, and that there's a ton of money to be made around AVs and services. Quoting her note again, we see the prospects of Apple Car representing the clearest path to doubling Apple's revenue and market cap, catalyzing a shift in investor narrative back toward the attractiveness of the platform and long-term sustainable growth. Huberty has a positive rating on Apple shares. Her price target on the shares is $164. Also happy to toss in his 2 cents is Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives. The Apple 3.0 piece on Huberty's note also included part of that note, with Ives writing, we continue to believe it's a matter of when, not if, Apple enters the electric vehicle race, and this will add another $30 plus per share of total addressable market to the Apple growth story over the next few years, given the golden age of electric vehicle transformation on the horizon. Apple Insider went a bit deeper on Ives' note. Despite the strength of his apparent belief in Apple Car's inevitability, he'd prefer to see Apple be less Apple than it often is. According to the report, the analyst continues to believe that Apple will announce some type of strategic electric vehicle partnership in 2022, since such a collaboration will be the first step for the Cupertino juggernaut. Anyway, that's what he would like to see Apple do. Writes Ives, we would rather see Apple partner on the electric vehicle path than start building its own vehicles and factories, given the margin and financial model implications down the road, coupled with the strategic product risk around such a gargantuan endeavor. Ives has a positive rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $185. The firm Consumer Intelligence Research Partners has looked into the effect Apple's self-service repair program will have on iPhone sales. The way they see it, none. No effect will be felt. The firm issued a press release late last week saying that people buying new iPhones are giving up old iPhones with usable batteries and usable displays. The release has CIRP partner and co-founder Josh Lowett saying, based on what consumers say about the condition of the old phones they are retiring, it seems that relatively few owners would use the self-service repair program to postpone their next iPhone purchase. CIRP partner and co-founder Mike Levin concurs, saying at best, a small fraction of buyers are likely to postpone a new iPhone purchase by repairing an old iPhone through the self-service repair program. Apple abides by the laws wherever it does business. Even in the U.S., it seems. Apple Insider had a strange story over the weekend. According to that, the Cupertino company has issued a memo letting employees know that they have a right to discuss wages and pay-related complaints externally. As seen by NBC News, the memo has Apple saying, "Our policies do not restrict employees from speaking freely about their wages, hours, or working conditions. We encourage any employee with concerns to raise them in the way that they feel most comfortable, internally or externally, including through their manager, any Apple manager, people support, people business partner, or business conduct." So we'd like to keep it inside, but whatever. While seen by some as a shift in Apple's modus operandi, it is also the law. According to Apple Insider, the internal communique does not express entitlements unique to Apple employees, as rights to organize and speak out about wages are covered by the National Labor Relations Act. The page itself is a new post that underscores text from Apple's public business conduct policy document. It's cool that such thoughts are being expressed, but how do these statements square with issues the company's had throughout the year? A year that saw the rise of the #Apple2 internal movement, the firing of one of its instigators, and reaching a dissolution settlement with another. As Apple Insider points out, company workers have been pushing for more transparency on pay equity issues, with some creating surveys for the purpose. Apple squashed those attempts and shut down an internal Slack channel dedicated to discussion of the issue in August. All of that, plus an ongoing complaint from a former Apple employee with the National Labor Relations Board involving issues around workplace safety, sexism, and discrimination, make the memo, well, notable. Might be the best word for it. And finally today, Dateline Hollywood. Seen schmoozing in Southern California to end the week last week, Apple CEO Tim Cook hobnobbing with Coach Beard, Roy Kent, Keely Jones, and Ted Lasso himself. Mac Rumors says Brendan Hunt, Brett Goldstein, Juno Temple, and Jason Sudeikis were at Apple's relocated store at the Grove in Los Angeles Thursday night, celebrating the store's physical shift. Apple has had an Apple store in the Grove shopping area for close to 20 years, according to the report, but their recently opened store is in a new location. To celebrate the relocation, the piece says Apple hosted a Q&A event with the cast of the show, and the next day, Cook was back. A piece from Apple Insider says both the CEO and retail chief Deirdre O'Brien were present for the new Apple the Grove grand opening. Coming up in a few minutes, Jeff Gammett's own Jeff Gammett joins us this week. What's news to him today is what's been news for the past few days. He's got thoughts on the Apple Car story, and he would like to talk about them. The show is called In a Few Minutes. Find it and listen wherever you find and listen to podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.